Welcome, guys, to another episode of the Courtside Investor podcast. I'm your host, the Card Boss. Today, we're recording on the 29th of July, 2025. And by the time this video goes up live, we're roughly about 24 hours to the start of the biggest card show of the year, the Nationals Sports Card Convention in Chicago, right? It's the spectacle of the year. It's the card show of the year. Thousands of people attend the show every single year, and it's the biggest show that everybody talks about. Okay, of course, as you can tell, I'm not attending. I'm sitting in the studio in my house in Malaysia, and I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of people who are not attending the show as well, and that's all good. Okay, the show is not for everybody. It's a huge deal. There's a lot of money to commit to go to that kind of show, to set up at that kind of show. And of course, if you're going there to buy stuff or even just to look around, there is some significant money to spend if you just want to walk about a show. But definitely it's something that I plan to do one day in the future, maybe as soon as next year. But definitely I would recommend to have at least an experience to see what this biggest show is all about, right? Now, that's not what today's video is about, no doubt. It's going to be around the Nationals, 2025 Nationals. But basically, my observations on the show, what I think is going to happen during the show, and what I think is going to happen after the show, which might be useful to some of you guys who's watching this channel from the investment point of view. All right. So let's talk a bit about what's been going on before the show. And I mentioned briefly about this in my previous videos. Okay. What you can see lately is a lot of cards. Now, speaking of basketball specifically, right? So I know football is a bit different because the season's about to begin. So there's a lot of hype. There's a lot of positive sentiment about the certain players that's going to the start of the season, but I'm not very familiar with the market. So I'm going to speak about basketball specifically. We are sitting in the middle of the off season. So we are still about, 2+ months away from any NBA action. So I would say that in most circumstances, card prices do remain a bit flat, or in fact, actually will go down just a little bit during this juncture. But one thing you'll notice is the last couple of weeks, there is a bit of a surge, on a lot of key cards. And when I say key cards and things like the short prints of the inserts, the kabooms, the downtowns, right? The color blasts, and even some of the 90s stuff, for the Kobe's, the Curry autos, flawless patch autos, all these are all trending up in prices. Of course, there's Caitlin Clark as well, right? So the question is, why the sudden movements on all these cards when there is no NBA season at the moment? These cards are holding strong in value and they're actually going up, in some cases for certain players. So why is this the case? Now, I attribute this, in my opinion, to what we call the Nationals effect. Okay, so what does that mean? Nationals is a place that people go attend, right? They intend to bring stuff to sell, intend to flex with the stuff, depend to cash out on certain things, and that's a time when people who also have a lot more money to spend. So either you're going there with a bunch of stuff to sell, or you're going there with a bunch of cash to go and spend it on. So that's a time where a lot of deals happen. And if you're the guy whereby you want to be selling stuff to make a profit, you actually need to load up on your inventory. And you see that pattern time and time again every single year, whereby stuff goes off the shelf pretty quickly pre-nationals for guys just want to load up because they do know that certain things, fast-moving stuff, get to move very quickly during the nationals. Okay, and it's more so in the last 1 year, or in fact the year before, when the emergence of repackers buying stuff at 90% to 110% of comps. Okay, so definitely there is a monetary and financial opportunity to sell things to make a quick, small margin profit, but margins no doubt. And because there is ability to make quick money, you want to have access to inventory. So you see a lot of stuff getting picked up from auctions, especially those short printed stuff that I just mentioned, going at fairly, not tremendously higher prices than the previous comps or what, but you're sticking up 10-15% on the basketball side, which is very unusual, given that we're now sitting in the off season. And this is what we call the Nationals effect. Now, all these cards will tend to move around during the Nationals. We're going to have some glimpse of what's going on through lots and lots of content that's going to be posted on YouTube. Okay, you're going to see a lot of big cards get moved, as yet you're going to see a lot of these stables get moved as well. Obviously, you're not privy to the detailed transactions or all the transactions that's happening during the nationals. Just gonna get a little taste about it. But definitely a lot of these cards are gonna get moved during the show. But at the same time, there'll be a lot of these cards who won't get moved during the show as well, because depending on the prices that you buy and depending on who you meet during nationals or whether you have the opportunity to sell, or maybe people just run out of money and they spend it too quickly, and things like that. So what will happen at the end of nationals is there'll be going to be a lot of stuff that's going to change hands, but there's going to be a lot of stuff that didn't actually get to change hands as well. And immediately after the nationals, you're going to see a lot of inventories going to get flushed back into the market. Whether it's going to be through the auction houses, whether it's through eBay, or maybe, if you go to other smaller shows post nationals, you're going to see a lot of these stuff reappearing back. Okay. Now, what does that mean in terms of prices? So of course it's going to go on auctions, right? It means it's going to go back into the open market to people who are like you and me, okay? Or perhaps like me specifically, who did not attend the nationals, will have opportunities to rebuy this inventory. And you're going to find that prices, at least for basketball, will be a little bit lower than where it was before nationals, okay? So it may be the same as, I would say around May's prices before the little bit of bump, maybe a bit lower, who's to know, right? It's auction anyway, but it's a buying opportunity right after nationals. So that's something that I'll be looking out for right after nationals, when a lot of these stuff enter back into the open market. And why would that be the case, right? So like I said, nationals is a place where a lot of people get together. Okay, it's a meeting of a lot of people. It's people who in the hobby have communicated with each other through social media, through Facebook, Instagram. It's a time that they all get together. It's a time where they flex all the good stuff. It's a time where big cards change hands. It's a time where a lot of money flow. But once it's all done and everybody goes back to their respective lives, goes back to their respective corners, I would say, okay, it's back to business as usual. So when there's a lot of excess inventory, things that you buy with the intention for the nationals, or even things that you buy from the nationals thinking to move it right after, which is perfectly fine strategy as well. You see lots and lots of cards entering into the market, then it becomes a buyer's market. It depends on how much cash you would have. So a person who would like to seek opportunity to buy cars at good prices, it's not saying that price is gonna like fall off or drop and things like that. There'll be certain cars that will be gonna maintain good prices as well. But the choices are abundant. So there's a lot of time for you to pick and choose what you want to buy. So between roughly the period of August and September, right before the preseason begins for NBA at least, there is a good buy opportunity, the final opportunity to buy before the actual NBA season begins. Because when the start of October, November, you're going to see things start to ramp up pretty quickly. Teams that will go off on an early run, like last year, Cleveland went on a quickly 15-0 burst. You see cars like Evan Mobley, Donovan Mitchell really got a quick jump start. Orlando, Paulo Banchero, and Franz Wagner, before they got injured, got a quick boost as well. And of course, certain players who was highly speculated before the start of the season, such as, for example, Paul George or Joel Embiid, people thinking the Sixers were going to make some noise, and that really fell off really, really quickly. Okay, so again, nationals is a time where lots of activities are going to happen, lots of transactions. Just sit back, enjoy the next couple of days, lots of content. I'm going to thoroughly enjoy myself just watching content, just enjoying looking at awesome cards that's on display on nationals. But right after that, that's a time whereby there's plenty of buying opportunity. So from my perspective is, do I regret not attending nationals this year? Nah, I wouldn't say I'm going to regret it. It's like I said, it's a significant amount of financial investment to make it to a kind of show like this. Like, you want to go there with a purpose. You want to go there to buy stuff. You want to go there to sell stuff. Even if you say that you're going to go there to meet people that you met online, which is fine, to build relationships. I want to do that as well, but it's still financial investment, time investment as well. So definitely I'm going to do that one fine day. But for now, sitting back, enjoy, watch all the festivities during nationals, and then just load up and get ready for huge buying opportunities that's going to come right after nationals. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. All right, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoy again. Thanks for watching, guys. Do like, subscribe, and follow my channel for more content in the future. Thanks again. Kabos out.